First, I want to thank everybody that has shown me love and support. I really appreciate it. After my first channel or a couple of channels, were attacked or whatever, it's interesting building this channel up from scratch. You know, this channel started under a pillow fort in a very hostile environment, and I was pretty much making videos, just not to snap or go crazy. What's crazy is people have told me that I'm one of the realest black pillars there are, but I don't get the respect or recognition at all. Only a few people who are real recognize real because real recognize real, right? Like I'm actively living through a mental health emergency that most people would never survive. Most people in my situation, most people who's been through the things I've been through, they would have snapped, they would have broke, they would have done something illegal by now, they would have landed themselves in prison, but I understand the pleroma. I understand that there's an evil, wicked, sadistic being that's purposely doing things to orchestrate negative energetic manifestation or frequency towards me. So once you understand that, you understand that all these attacks that come against you, all the negative forces, these are Hylics, NPCs, and soulless beings. When they pass away, they will be forgotten. No one's going to care about them. No one's going to even acknowledge their existence. But for guys like us in this position, in this situation we find ourselves in, you're going to notice that there's going to be a myriad of problems. There's going to be all types of torturous events that you're going to have to go through in life. And you know what's crazy? It's funny. Like when you are in the trenches like I am, like you guys know what it is. Like a lot of us, we're in the trenches. We're in our own little sci-fi Stalingrad for real. Fighting house to house, fighting rooftop to rooftop, fighting in the sewers, fighting in the forest, fighting by the rivers and ravine, fighting everywhere. Like, we got to battle every day. And there's certain people who you see that they'll have a way better life than you, but they'll complain about small things. And it's like, at least you have a roof over your head. At least you don't have to worry about where you're going to find your next meal. At least you don't have to worry about trying to maintain a YouTube channel, make videos daily or as much as you can, while simultaneously having a mental health crisis, dealing with real things in real life and dealing with all this simultaneously. But then you see people who don't go through nothing that you're going through, yet people love to gravitate towards them. They get way more views, they get way more recognition, they get way more attention. Meanwhile, you're sitting here going through homelessness and really, really living this so-called black pill life, right? You're really living it actively. Every video you make is like an audio log from Doom 3 or an audio log from Dead Space or an audio log from a horror game, or from Resident Evil or something. It's like an audio log from some horror game, right? But then this is not what gets thousands of views and shit like that. Ain't that so? It's always the realest. The realest gets the less views. And it doesn't mean people that get views and all that are not any real. It's just that it's funny how people, they want to be raw. They want you to be unfiltered. They want you to be authentic. But when you do that, these people come and attack you. So that's why a lot of people are not, you know what I mean? So I get it. It's like, I don't know, it's a heavy balance of foolishness in this world, right? There's always something that's going to try to knock you off your pivot. So men, you got to stay strong, young men. We got to stay strong in this war. You're at war every day. Don't never let nobody tell you it's going to get better. Don't let nobody tell you that, there's a God looking out for you. Don't let nobody tell you any type of lie. You are in a war. You are in a battle for your own survival in mind. And when you pass away, you're going to encounter some of the most terrifying beings that you've ever imagined. Some of the most terrifying, frightening dimensions you can ever imagine. Some may call it hell. I call it another spiritual prison and a spiritual trap made by the demiurge. And it's interesting. And also, if you don't like me, there's no reason for you to be on my channel. There's no reason for you to follow my second channel. And if I make a brand new channel, to follow that and see what I'm doing is weird. It's like, if you don't like me, don't watch my content. I don't want anything to do with you or any of these weirdos, right? And And you're never going to get my attention again, right? Because I'm not paying no attention to you parasites. So I'm never going to get mad. I'm not going to lose my cool and lose my temper. That's the emotional reaction that you want. That's your reward or something like that. It's weird. How do you get a reward from looking at a guy who's homeless with nothing, and you find him on the internet? You actively search him, save his videos, do this, and just monitor him and watch him, and you run scripts and try to see and find all this. It's just weird. It's like, why are you so invested in somebody you never met in real life? Did that person really intrigue you that much that you have some type of hard on for this person? This person doesn't want nothing to do with you. So now if you keep on chasing something, when you hear me officially say, leave me alone, I'm not bothering you, I don't want no trouble, leave me alone, and you keep doing it, for the people watching, what does that say about them? This guy obviously openly said, leave him alone, he want no problems with you, didn't start with you in the first place, and you keep going at it? I don't believe in karma. But I do believe the demiurge has a plan. And when the demiurge uses you to attack me, and the demiurge may not want me to be attacked for a moment, because the demiurge would do this. It will allow certain things to happen. It will use certain evil people to attack you. But then if those people cross their boundaries and they keep doing things that the demiurge doesn't want, then the demiurge turns on them as well. It's like being in Hampton Court of King Henry VIII and you're Thomas Cromwell. And you're Thomas Cromwell, you done everything for the king, you looked out for the king, you abolished the monasteries, you did all these things for King Henry VIII, and he still had you without your head. So he still had you neutralized. So it's interesting. But anyway, young men, we have to prepare our minds every day for battle and every day for war, because that's what we're going through. And I know a lot of us, man, this feeling of being alone, this feeling of isolation and mental degradation, and your heart, your emotions, your pain, everything that you're going through right now, you feel like, fuck, I can't, like, you really feel like there's no way out of this, because there's no way out of this. Somebody asked me, why do we even try? And that's an excellent question. I ask myself that question every day. Why do I even try? Why do I make videos? Why do I even rap or do music or do what I like to do? Whatever my hobbies are, I have myriad hobbies besides with that. Why do I do these things? Because some of these things bring me joy. And actually ending it all is a very permanent thing. We don't really know what's on the other side. So it's fear. Fear is why a lot of us don't drop out of society and commit Japanese honorable neutralization. Is because simply fear. We fear what's on the other side of this life. And you know what's interesting? To an almighty God, to a being that's infinite and powerful, being a human is like death to them. Being a human where you have to poop, you have to throw up, you have to pee, you get sick, you got to pay bills, you got to go to work. To a God who's infinite and does whatever he wants, that's the ultimate hell. Think of the God of the Bible. If the God of the Bible had to live in our shoes, do you not think he would go crazy? Right? If you even touch his Ark of the Covenant wrong, he'll instantly neutralize you. This God wouldn't survive a day in our shoes. I think I have a video on my other channel that I talk about this, where this God wouldn't survive a day in our shoes. Not one day. Hell, not even damn sure not a lifetime. And if it's true that every time we pass away, we get judged, we face a judgment, and then archons scare us, terrify us, bring our most worst fears. So if your fear is spiders, you'll pass away and you will find yourself in a dimension where there's nothing but giant spiders that look real, that feel real, that come to attack you. These spiders are like 20, 30-foot spiders, 100-foot spiders, giant spiders all around you. You're in some type of hell. You're in some type of section in hell. And your soul's like, where the hell am I at? You see these verses just pitch black. And then you see these red eyes all around you. And then like maybe some light source comes on and you look around you. There's nothing but giant tarantulas all around you. And one of them look at you like pray and come after you, right? You got to understand, this is what it is. The demiurge, the God of this world, can do anything he wants. He can take your, you know what I mean? So this is very scary going up against them. That's why most people say, no, and they go to their church and because they're scared, they're terrified. But you will never find true spiritual peace and revitalization through that way, and soul rejuvenation. Also, take this into consideration. This God rules by fear and intimidation. It utilizes tactics that are highly sophisticated and complex to make sure that we stay in our place, quote unquote, to make sure that we never get into positions of prominence and dominance and spiritual power. This God has committed spiritual iniquities and we just ignore it. I don't know why we ignore it. It's so easy to see that this being that created this is obviously evil and it wants us to be in a certain type of subservience to it for eternity. And what is subservience got most of us? Most of us were subservient. Most people right now are. You wake up like when you wake up and go to the 9 to 5 and pay bills, you're basically saying without saying it that I agree to this, even if you don't agree to it. The fact that we all do it, we're all participating in this soul energy ritual. Every single day you go to work and every single day you pay bills and every single day you buy anything. I don't care if you're on Xbox and you buy a game, like on the Xbox game shit, you go buy a game or, all of that means that you are in agreement. For years now people looking at the discless thing, but I remember 10, 15, 20 years ago, I remember me and a few other people, we were sounding the alarm, saying, hey, they're going to have an all-digital future. They're going to have a new world order, one world government. They're going to have these proxy wars and all this. They're going to try to destabilize the Middle East and bring in and people thought I was crazy. But I was sitting there reading the Freemason books and manuals, and all different types of cult sources. Because when you join Freemasonry, they don't just tell you worship. They don't just tell you that right off the jump. You got to raise your degrees. You know what I mean? There's levels to it, right? But when I seen that this world is basically like it's so hard to create something, and then everything can be snatched from you within seconds. You can spend years trying to build something, and then one thing can just take it all away. You know. So it's interesting the world we live in, man, where there's all these social dynamics and hierarchies, and you gotta wake up every single day and you get nervous. Sometimes you gotta wake up in the morning, your stomach hurts, so you gotta go to the bathroom, brush your teeth, you gotta hop in a shower, you gotta clean your butt, you gotta clean your balls, you gotta clean your armpits, you gotta brush your teeth, you gotta clean out your ears, you gotta clean behind your ears, you gotta stay clean. Meanwhile, you're homeless and broke. A lot of people don't understand this, but somebody told me, said, bro, you have a hell of a story. If you ever really take your music serious and start focusing on that, it's like, I'm gonna support you to the end. I want to see you make it. I'm like, damn, like you gotta understand, like, I forget that I have love like this, so, you know, when you're in hell, it's hard to imagine heaven. So that's why I thank people that still support me when I'm going through my things I go through and people support me. Some people make cash at me, and I appreciate you people. You guys have saved my arse a lot of times when I was really feeling down and out. Somebody would cash at me. I get some kush, and next thing you know, I get more energy to make more videos. And, right now I ain't got no kush. I'm just making this video out of just pure strength and merit, and it's difficult. I'm not gonna lie, bro. A life without kush, a life without, your addictive habits is horrible. And people talk about addictions and habits and it's bad. And yes, it is bad. It's bad to be addicted to anything. It's bad to be addicted to anything in these dimensions that can alter your mind and perception, because your raw perception is the reality. So trying to numb it and numb the pain, it feels good and it has its positives, but also it's like trying to numb your pain in the middle of war. It's like the enemy doesn't care if you're wounded. Hell, they want you to be wounded so they can come attack you even more. They're merciless predators with nothing better else to do. And when the cards come crumbling down, they're going to be the ones looking stupid in the end, and they're going to wish they have never done what they did, but it's going to be too late. They're going to have a long time to think about their actions and consequences, right? Young men, we have to protect our peace. We have to protect our mind and tranquility. And always remember this, just because when somebody has shown you their horns before, they've shown you that they don't like you, they've shown you that they're evil, they've shown you that they don't respect you, what you do is this, you keep your distance. You don't engage with these people. You don't try to argue with these people because when somebody already put it in their mind that they don't like you and they want to paint you as an enemy, there's nothing you can do except just don't interact with those people. You know, I've always been very careful who I interacted with. That's why for a long time I've been by myself for a bit. People may try to hit me up here and there, but it's extremely hard to get in contact with me. And of course, before it'd be so easy, you could just get in contact with me so easily. Now it's extremely difficult to try to get my attention or get in contact with me. I've had to create that deliberate disconnection. Like only few people can get in contact with me for real, right? And it's been like that for years, man. Because I noticed when I had a big friend group, I remember, bro, I used to have so many people in my contact friends list, like on my phone, on my old phone, whatever. I have like 50 people on my phone, and half of them I didn't even know, or half of them I met at like a kickback or a party one time, got their number and never called them again, or when I text them, they didn't text back or whatever. So then I started noticing that just because you have a lot of friends, it doesn't mean that you have friends. It just means most of them are associates. Like you may, like, and then if you look at it, the relationship is probably you're benefiting or they're benefiting from your friendship more than you're benefiting from their friendship. So it's best for guys like us who are really kind of rejected and ejected by society to stay by ourselves. That's why I always say outside the room is doom. I'm not lying when I say that. It's the truth. You guys see it when you leave your rooms as well. Outside outside that room is your angry boss, your angry landlord, people with their own biases and prejudices, people that have their own ways of doing things, their own perceptions on life, and you have to deal with that every single day. It's tiring. Like I don't want to deal with somebody who already has it out for me. Like why in the hell would I want to be around somebody who doesn't like me? Why would I want to listen to somebody who doesn't like me? If I ran into somebody on the internet and they said, "Hey, man," but it's crazy because when somebody has already emotionally devoted themselves, it's very difficult to break that. It's like it's weird. It's like if I was on the internet, I can't even imagine myself being some type of troll or weirdo. It's just not in my spirit to do that. It's just I'm just here to talk about my life, my experiences, and to help people going through it. That's it. But people want to paint you as a bad guy so they can justify attacking you, which means they're coming from a disingenuous point, and that disingenuous point is not based on realness. So eventually that will fall. You're going to lose your audience. Something's going to happen to you. Hell, the guy who attacked me from Croatia, it comes to find out that he's a PDF file. This guy was talking all that mess, and this guy's sitting there, and he's partying with Epstein pretty much. So it goes to show you the quality of people that come and attack me or attack people like us who are minding our business. These people are into some dark, dark crap and some dark, dark just wickedness and evil, which is why when you're somebody who has a talent and you're somebody that you're great, you just need a chance. You can't engage with everybody. You can't because not everybody's on your level mentally. They're not on your level spiritually. They're not on your level. Like you go to work every day and you're trying to build something. They think that job is everything. That job is their life, but it's not your life. You got bigger and better things to do than to be a 9 to 5 for the rest of your life. You're going to have to do it, right? But you need to find a plan. I can't tell you what that plan is but I will tell you this, that the demiurge is going to throw every obstacle at you. Do you know how hard it was for me to build this channel and get it monetized? People are jealous of me because I got my channel monetized. What are you jealous of? You think it was easy? Do you think it's easy trying to make content under a pillow fort when I started this shit in a hostile environment? But somebody that couldn't wait to kick me out. They couldn't wait till they had me in their absolute power. And they made sure they abused it. And they did it so I will never forget it. They tried to break me. They knew I just got kicked out. I just got doxxed and all of that. And they still attacked me mercilessly. I'll never forget that. And I'll never forgive that person. Never. And that person still talk. I'm not going to get into that. That's private information. But that person is evil, and it showed me their true colors. You're not my family. You never were. Go to your friend in New York and you guys have a Diddy party. And that's all I'll say. Young men, when somebody breaks you and hurts you at your lowest, you will never forgive that person. They're trying to break your spirit. Because if you would have snapped and laid your hands on him, then you would have been in prison, and he was the one that orchestrated that. And a God is sitting there who laughing because now you're in prison. Fuck the God of the Bible. Fuck anybody who believes in that crap. You guys are the problem. Religion is the problem in this world because so many people are loosed and getting farmed and there's secret CIA clone labs beneath our feet. There's a thing called a sensitive installation where they clone people like Resident Evil. You think I'm joking? The ignorance of the masses is the depletion of the human spirit. There's a reason why a lot of us face all types of ridicule, all types of misery, all types of insanity, all types of barbarity. And some people need barbiturates to keep their mind in place. A lot of us face emotional fluctuations and emotional degradation due to the life that we live. We live in a very sophisticated and complex world. Complex meaning that there's layers of lies hidden between layers of lies. Most people who you listen to online, these bigger YouTubers, they're making content in two-story houses. Hell, they're doing YouTube full time. They're making content inside two-story houses. They got their dogs, they got their pets. They make like one video a month and it gets hundreds of thousands of views. Meanwhile, I gotta grind every day. I gotta grind hard. I gotta grind harder than everyone. I can't fuck around. So I gotta go hard. You know? I've been attacked, brutalized, psychologically devastated years ago. This is another battle to me. And yet, I release a video, I don't get 100,000 views. I don't get 10,000 views. I don't get the views some of these other people who make the same content I make pretty much in a way. And I'm going through it for real, and been going through it. So it shows me that there's a God that only allowed me to get certain things just so I wouldn't snap and do something to myself, right? Just so he can keep loosening me. I really believe that my soul and a lot of our souls are special, and we produce a special type of loosh. And this loosh, from our anger, from our depression, from our stress, and from anything that we do, this loosh is very important and it's like gold to these spirits. Our soul is like gold to these evil spirits because they've never seen somebody like us before. So they parasite off of us. They feed off of us, because we're life. Remember, the divine spark is life. Remember, the demiurge it wasn't supposed to be created anyway. He was an accident. So people like us who have the divine spark, a lot of us, we attract parasites. It's just because we're unique, we're rare. But in real life, most people just overlook us. But you go on the internet, you can find people that support you, that love you, all that. You find so much love, right? There's a lot, of course, there's the negative stuff too, but for the most part, you find people that know what you're going through. They understand you. They can relate to you. They know life shouldn't just be the 9 to 5. Life can be so much more than that, right? And it's very difficult, man, to maintain in the brain when you're going insane and life is filled with pain and it's a drain and it's a stain on your confidence. Like I look at life a lot like a reconnaissance mission. Back in the days of ancient Rome or whatever, there would be Roman troops that would march in front of the army and they would do reconnaissance, scouting the land, making sure there's no enemy ambushes or whatever. Just basic reconnaissance. And that's what I do with life. I look at life as a reconnaissance mission. Like everything that I go through is reconnaissance because the things that I go through in life are extremely interesting in a bad way. Like I've been through it. I've been through everything a YouTuber can go through. Doxing, harassment, shit on the internet that spilled off to real life because of some excess person, that's trying to hide their IP and hide that they did it, but they have all the evidence on their computers and hard drives and backups and all this. It's like, why are you acting like an FBI agent to somebody who's not even bothering you? Like you're hyper fixated on me, and that hyper fixation will be your downfall, and you don't even know it because you're an idiot and you're an obsessed, mentally ill person that I don't want anything to do with. I don't want anything to do with anybody who doxed me or know people who dox me. You know, I don't want anything to do with you weirdos. You fuckers are disgusting, you know? And then I has these people send me evidence. They sent me a whole evidence of the perpetrators or some of the, and they're part of the perpetration as well. I mean, because if you're around fire and you don't get burned, and then you are the fire, right? But I want to call those people fire. They're just Sasquatch poop, in the forest right by the river. They just poop just falling off into the nasty river. That's what I think of those people, because when you dox somebody, when you focus on somebody and try to destroy their life, all because you heard a video of what they said you didn't agree with, and you could have easily just clicked off, but you got interested in this person. You got fixated on this person like somebody gets fixated on a female. That fixation is going to cost you, and it's going to come at a time you least expected. And I seen the people who targeted my last channel, right? And these people are just, and if you look at these people, they don't have a huge following. They don't have an audience. But what they have is time, because they don't work a job. They're not trying to build something. They don't make original content. They sit and they monitor me all day and see what I produce, and then take and then try to produce content from me. It's weird. I've never, ever, 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 ever encountered this in life. Somebody who's this fixated on me. It's a weird feeling, man. Like, a lot of you guys probably will never experience this. Making content on the internet and getting people hyper fixated on you when there's thousands of people out there making the exact same content, talking about how modern women are basically thoughts and bobs. I'm not the only one saying that. There's channels bigger than mine. Taylor the Fiend makes the same video every single video, and yet his audience loves it. He gets hundreds of thousands of views every video, right? So it's interesting, I think people that troll people and people that do all that stuff online are some of the most despicable, lonely, miserable people at all. They listen to somebody like me, and maybe they can relate a little bit, but they don't like that it's coming from me. Or they don't like something about me because I see things that they didn't see, and they feel stupid or insecure. And instead of just watching somebody who like, I don't understand the psychology of watching somebody that you don't like, somebody that you don't like, that you obviously have some type of beef or bias with, and you watch their content, and even if they make a second channel, you do that. You got family members that do that. Like, they'll find my chat. Like, these people don't like me. They treat me like crap in real life, and then they go on the internet, try to talk about me, and then try to smile in my face or try to act like they didn't do it. These people, that is just, it's weird, man. I don't know what the hell. It's like you finally catch traction on, it's nothing but the demiurge. You finally catch traction on the internet. You've been wanting this for a long time, just to have an audience so you can produce music. And you finally get it, but then you get it, then it just destroys your life. But your life was already destroyed. But these people and what's funny is that crimes like that are something that, never mind. Just understand this, guys. You're going to be attacked in this world, and people like to attack guys that seem as vulnerable. I have a voice for some reason, but this voice, I need to probably focus more on musical aspects, But people come to listen to me talk. I'm like, damn, why do they want to listen to me talk? I want to listen to me rap, listen to me make beats, listen to my poetry, listen to my book, listen to that, But I guess this is what they want. You got to give the people what they want. That's just, McDonald's ain't going to sell you a rock. They're going to sell you a McDouble, those McDonald's chicken sandwiches used to be fire back in the days, just like back in the days, Jack in the Box spicy chicken sandwich used to be fire, Now it tastes like plastic. It's weird, the chemical compositions that they integrate into these food supplies are ridiculous, and they're causing shorter lifespans. It's a weird world, man, but we got to keep our heads up. We got to stay focused, and we got to understand that we're dealing with a very sick and twisted world that we find ourselves in, and we got to stay strong. We got to keep our heads up, and we got to understand that every day is a battle, and every day is going to be a struggle. So I want you guys to remember this, man. No matter what you go through, always keep a cope, and sometimes your copes don't even work, but understand this, that if you're not spiritually trained, we don't really know what's on the other side of that dimension. So we got to be very careful, and with that, You guys have a good night, good morning, good evening, like whatever time you're watching this. And I thank you, all my supporters. I thank you guys. I truly thank everybody that supports me, everybody that likes, everybody that comments, everybody that shows me love. I really appreciate you guys. I never thought that I would get this much love just talking about my life. So I appreciate you guys, and you guys take care. Peace.